Well, thank you for joining me on this question. We're looking at a question to do with a sine function, and it says to consider the function f of x is 3 sine 2x. Now here we've got a sine function, and what do we know about a sine function? Well, in this graph here, I've dragged a definition, and this is a sine graph. You see it starts at 0, 0, and it goes up to 1, and then it goes back to 0 when at the value pi, which is 3.14, and then it goes down to -1 at the value of 3 pi on 2, and then it back to 0 at 2 pi. So this is a sine function, and that's pretty much what you have to know. But the question says, what is the amplitude? And so this question here has a number in front of sine, and that is the amplitude. Normally, if it's 1, if it's 1, like y equals sine 2x, that amplitude would simply be 1. And here the definition of amplitude says the maximum extent of a vibration or oscillation measured from the position of equilibrium. Equilibrium is like in the middle, and then it goes up to value of 1, and it goes down to a value of -1. So it's up 1, down 1, up 1, down 1. So the amplitude for this graph over here is 1, and there is no number, but that is a 1. If that was a number 2, then it would go up to 2 and down to -2, but it happens to be 3. So the amplitude is 3. So I'm going to just put the amplitude equals 3. The answer, I'll put in blue, the amplitude equals 3. And that's the answer for part A. You just have to drag it straight from the function. No working required. The period of the function, and here the definition of period, a function is defined as periodic if its value repeat up and down, it just goes, it's a cyclic function. It goes up to 1, down to -1, up to 1, down to -1. For example, the positions of the hand of a clock, it displays periodic behavior. Its cycles are every 12 hours. Now, the repeating interval is known as the period. So here, this interval from here repeats again, and that is 1 period, and then it repeats again, and that's the second period. And this interval, how long does it take to repeat? If it starts at 0 and it stops and it goes to the end of its repeating cycle at 2 pi, then we say the period equals 2 pi. But that is for that function up there. But because there's a 2 in here, we have to divide that by 2. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just put a green underline there, and I'm going to call that A, I'm going to call that value B, and the amplitude is the A value, and the period is 2 pi divided by the B value, and here the B value is 2. So the period is 2 pi over 2, and that means it cycles every pi. So the answer for part B is the period equals pi. So I'm just going to put equals pi. So the 2's cancel. Now we have to sketch the graph, and the graph above says, all right, it starts at 0 and it cycles by pi. Now pi is 3.14, it's about there, and 2 pi is about 6.28, it's about there, and here's pi, and that's 2 pi, and this is going to cycle from 0 to pi. Here it cycles from 0 to 2 pi, because that's simply the sine x graph, and we're going to go up to 3 and down to 3, so halfway is about pi over 2. It's going to go up to a value of 3. Oh no, that's one cycle, sorry. Let me get this right. it's going to, halfway it's going to be back to 0. Halfway, it's going to be back to 0. Now halfway there, this is pi on 4. That's about pi on 4. That's pi on 2. And halfway again, there's 3 pi over 2. And we're going to go up to 3. It's going to go up to a height of about, up to 3, not about, exactly. And then it's going to be back at 0. And here, it's going to be down at -3. And so by drawing that graph, it would go, let's draw the graph in blue, up to that height, down to 0, down to that level, then up to pi. But it says draw from 0 up to 2 pi. Don't go any negatives, so start at 0, including, because it's got a equal sign, and then finish at 2 pi, and that's including the value because it's got an equal sign there. So we want to do that cycle again. It's going to go from pi to 2 pi halfway. It's going to be at about, that's pi and 2, pi, 3 pi and 2. Ooh, this is, I've just discovered, you probably spot that. 1 pi and 4, 2 pi and 4, 3 pi and 4. Let's fix that error. Pi, 5 pi and 4, 6 pi and 4, 7 pi and 4, 8 pi on 4. So halfway, it's going to be at 3 pi and 2. Here, it's going to be somewhere there at 5 pi and 4. It's going to be back at level 3. And then at 7 pi and 4, it's going to be at the level -3. And we can draw that graph up to here, down to here, down to there, up to there. And make sure that these are not hollow. This is a full circle, and this is a full circle, and it's going to start there and finish there. We colour it in because it's included. If it was just less than, we would leave those as hollow circles. We would have hollow circles if it was just x less than pi, 2 pi, but it doesn't have a less than, it's got a less than or equal to. Okay, and there is part A, B, and C. I hope this has helped. This is a sine function, and it's to do with maths method, units 1 and 2. Until next time, stay happy.